In this video, we're gonna talk about why the worst thing you could ever do is listen to society. I'm gonna back it up with cold, hard facts. Also, I'm gonna dive into how to become a true game changer in a world filled with mediocrity. And I'm gonna tell you how to get my new motivational mixtape absolutely free and give you a sneak peek and show you an actual track. Hey, it's Peter Voogd, and welcome to another episode of the YEL podcast, where we show you how to live a life and a business on your terms. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you are listening in your car, thank you again, and we have a very jam-packed episode today. I really want to dive into why 98% of society doesn't reach their dreams, settles, is frustrated, has money issues, validates greatness, and why 2 to 3% actually live their dreams. And it's not age, it's not experience, it's not where you're from. It's a couple things I'm going to dive into, and I have a very exciting announcement at the end. Being different can be dangerous in a brainwashed society, but I want you to understand it's not as dangerous as being like everybody else. I know firsthand what happens when you take too many opinions, when you get advice from people that don't have the results you want, when you get advice from people who you wouldn't trade places with. You have to understand that there's nobody like you. And once you realize that, your entire future changes. When I realized the only way to differentiate myself from everybody else, the only way to build a business that thrives and become a game changer, was to get in tune with exactly who I am, what I wanted, and what I was willing to give up to get what I wanted. So understand, no one's like you. When you can embrace that and become more of yourself and maximize who you are, that's really when you're gonna start seeing real success. So it's tough because a lot of society is trying to fit in, and I challenge you to embrace being different and to stand out. The story of the human race is people selling themselves short. I'm not being negative, I'm just paying attention. The average person settles for far less than they're really capable of, and we come in this world with so many talents and abilities, we couldn't even use them all. But our potential is only pulled out when we're focused on our strengths, when we challenge our intellect, when we get around the right people and put things in our mind that help us expand our awareness. The most successful people our world has ever seen have built legacies and built massive businesses and changed the game, staying true to themselves. So how do you stay true to yourself when friends and family and coworkers have an opinion on everything, right? They constantly share their opinion, whether you ask for it or not, and they seem to always imply that they know better, right? This was me when I was coming up from a small town of 7,000 people. There was no one around me making over 6 figures, right? It was very hard. I never even thought about becoming a game changer, making more than 6 figures. I never thought about that because no one ever talked about it. And one of the reasons our society is struggling is people are taking advice from people who don't practice what they preach. So that's why it's important to be a selective listener. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got from my first mentor, Isaac Tolpin, was this. He said, Peter, if you really want to thrive in this noisy economy, you have to take very few opinions. And before that, I took all the advice from society. Here's some of the biggest myths that I've seen ruin people's futures, and this is one of the biggest reasons people don't get to that 3 to 5% and they stay mediocre. Now, I'm not saying they're bad people, but I'm saying they don't live a life on their terms, and they don't really have leverage, and they can't really do what they want, right? Here's the biggest myth. Don't speak your mind, and only speak when it's your turn. I was learning that in school. Don't speak up. If you have something to say, don't say it till it's the right time, till it's your turn, right? Thinking different is gonna get you in trouble. Going against the grain is gonna get you in trouble. Work your way up. When I finally got into sales and I wanted to start my own business, I was struggling, I went broke, I was frustrated. And the advice I got from everybody was just work harder. No one said work smarter. No one said work right. No one said hire people. No one said duplicate myself. No one said understand how to leverage systems and processes. They just said work harder. So I went from 50 hours to 60 hours to 70 hours to 80 hours. Game changers don't work just harder, they work right. There's 5,000 ways to get to end results, but there's one optimal way based on who you really are, based on what you really want, and based on how to get there in terms of your values and what's most important to you. You can't become wealthy in your 20s, in your 30s, and even in your 40s. I had that stigma my whole life when I was 15, 16, 19, 20. When I went broke at 22, everyone's like, you're supposed to be broke, you're 22. I don't know about you, but I don't like the feeling of having no choices and the feeling of feeling stuck and discouraged and not being able to buy food, right? So that stigma of you can't become wealthy in your 20s, 30s, 40s has been killed. Now there's people under 20 that are making millions, right? Then I heard from people, study as much as you can, watch every video, listen to every podcast. So I did that and I got overloaded. I had so much information, I didn't take any action because when you're overwhelmed, you subconsciously seek distraction. So from that moment forward, when I took all this advice from teachers and friends' parents and everyone in my town and everyone around me in college, it led me to being broke, discouraged, and frustrated. So at that moment, I knew I was not gonna be a game changer if I listened to everybody else and if I listened to the majority. If you really wanna be successful, look at what the majority does and literally do the opposite, right? Start listening to voices of value and those who have experience and ideas and a reputation you're striving to emulate. Listen to people you would trade places with and listen to people who have already experienced the success you're aiming for. Have you ever experienced one of these situations? And these really rubbed me the wrong way growing up. Broke people and those in debt giving money advice, right? See, game changers have very selective hearing and nothing affects their mental state of mind, right? That's why I'm sharing this. But overweight people giving health advice. Those who hate what they do giving career or business advice. Divorced people giving marriage advice. That might be good if they tell you what not to do, right? Coaches who haven't actually got results giving advice on how to get results. There's like 20-year-old life coaches that don't even have $5,000 saved, right? Parents promoting what they learned 30, 40 years ago and not adapting to the new economy. Business professors telling students to go in debt as the first step to building a business. It's all wrong, and I grew up trying to fit in. But if you really want to be a game changer, you have to understand how to stand out and not be like most people, right? It's really a great strategy if you understand the power of doing the opposite of everybody else, because everybody else is struggling. And if you want an average job with average experiences and an average paycheck and an average future, pay attention to society. But if you want an exceptional life, one that is filled with abundance and happiness and gratitude and excitement and fulfillment, you got to go against the grain. So don't be like most people. I know deep down no one wants to be average or typical and everyone wants to be different, but here's the problem. People do the same things over and over again, and the majority of us live like we have 500 years left when the reality is you don't. It's almost 2020 already, right? Time waits for nobody, so you have to have some urgency on your life. So here's what I want to share. When I left direct sales, I tried every course I could. I studied every course I could, and none gave me the results I wanted. None gave me a community that felt like I was a family. So I created something called the Game Changers Academy. I took all my strengths and everything I didn't like about the other ones, the ones I joined, the ones I studied, and created something called the GCA. It took my two strengths, which is impacting and motivating people to really get results, and connecting with the world's most elite entrepreneurs and bringing that together, and created a legendary community. But here's the deal. It's tough to get into, and what I realized is the biggest entrepreneur problems and the most common struggles were inconsistent income, unpredictable income, no real guidance or strategy. They lacked confidence and certainty, and there was no real support system. So the Academy helped people maximize their income on their terms. It helps them have a proven step-by-step roadmap, gain absolute clarity, and develop an unshakable confidence. It also helps people create their own $1 million network, because right now, Game changers understand it's not about age, not about experience, not about where you're from, not about how much money you have, what your parents did, if you went to college or not. It's about two things: having a proven roadmap and having a congruent network that can help you get to the next level. Because you don't have to believe in yourself right away. How can you believe if you don't have results? You have to be around people who believe in you, right? You also don't have to have the answer. I used to bang my head against the wall thinking I had to have the answer when I didn't. Your network has to have the answer. So here's what I figured out in the last 6 to 8 months. The Academy's hard to get into. It's not for everybody. It's very high level. It's deep dive. It's been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur. This is not a promotion at all in the Academy. I don't even want you guys to think about the Academy. But what I wanted to do is something special for you guys. So I understand it's not for everybody and it might not be affordable for everybody. But what I wanted to do was create a mixtape of the best content from the Academy and give it to you guys for free. Because this mixtape is something that you can listen to motivate you and inspire you, but give you a roadmap beyond the feeling of getting excited and emotionally compelling, right? Getting excited, and instead of music where it gets you excited and gets you emotionally kind of bought in, but after there's nothing that is past the music producing it, right? There's no roadmap. This will actually get you fired up and excited and give you a roadmap. We're also doing a special contest. So there's 12 tracks. The first track's called The Game Changer's Blueprint. Second one's called Bet on Yourself. Third one is called Reaching for Greatness, featuring my good friend Lewis Howes. Fourth is called Creating Your $1 Million Network. All the details will be below. But the fifth is called Finding Your Passion, featuring Tom Bilyeu. Maxing Out, featuring Ed Milet. A track called Becoming Irreplaceable. A track called Relentless Part 2, featuring Tim Grover, who's Michael Jordan's trainer. The Energy Explosion, Becoming a Beast, featuring Tony Horton. How to Identify Your Unique Ability. And the last track is called The Competitive Advantage. So we took the last 6 to 7 months to create this, to take the highlights, to create some amazing beats, and package it all in one simple mixtape. Now, this is not for everybody. This is gonna be on iTunes and Spotify and TuneCore and Google Play, but it's 100% free for you. All you have to do is go to GameChangersMovement.com/mixtape. Also, we're gonna get our Game Changers Blueprint that's gonna help you really level up. And there's no strings attached. I'm doing this because I wanna over-deliver for you, because there's so much fluff and BS out there, and I wanna really make sure that I'm the one that helps you create the life and business on your terms. So I'm gonna play the first track for you, okay? Just to kind of give you a glimpse of what it is. I'm gonna play the first track, and it's called The Game Changers Blueprint, to share what the mixtape's about. But we're gonna do a special contest. We're gonna give away $100, my last mixtape, the physical copy, as well as my best-selling book, the hardcover, signed. All you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment below once you're done subscribing, and then go to GameChangersMovement.com/mixtape and opt in. Sound good? And also, guys, make sure that you hit the little bell button next to subscribe. That shows you when we have new videos, so you can be alerted as well. But I'm excited. Really, what it takes to become a game changer is investing in yourself, betting on yourself, and finding a proven roadmap that allows you to tap in to this extra level of unique ability, strengths, success, and help you spark your own fire. And that's what I want this mixtape to do. No strings attached. The Game Changers Mixtape Volume 1 is here. You're the first to hear about it. It does not release until tomorrow. You get it free right now. GameChangersMovement.com/mixtape. Make sure you subscribe, comment below, and we're excited to help you become a true game changer. Talk to you guys soon. There's two types of people in this world: those who lead the majority and those who become the majority. And this is for those who want to lead the majority, who never stop thinking about success, freedom, impact, and how to live a life on their terms. If you're easily satisfied, if you use your past accomplishments as an excuse to not push for more, or you give up when things get tough, this is not for you. Everybody has the opportunity to create a life and a business on their terms, but you have to realize everything has changed, and it's adapt or die in this new economy. 10 years ago, it might not have been attainable, but now it's more possible than ever, and all the excuses people have been wiped out. You're from a small town? So what? No network? So what? No experience? That's irrelevant. If you're at 6 figures and you want to get to 7, you're not going to get there doing more of what made you the 6 figures. It's a whole different lifestyle and a whole different mentality and way of thinking. If you're part of the select few that with every fiber of their body wants to reach the new level and become a real game changer, pay attention. This mixtape is about what's working now. This is about to give you the tools, the tactics, and most importantly, a proven roadmap on how to build a life and a business on your terms. Back in 2012, I went on a journey of self-discovery. I wanted to figure out how to build a real business, make a real impact, and build a real legacy. And I wanted a community of real game changers, of people who were just as driven as me, and I couldn't find it. So I created one, and the Game Changers Academy was born. And since then, we've had thousands come through, and those who have been a part of the Academy have generated tens of millions of dollars of profits. I want to give you the most dynamic and impactful highlights from some of our millionaire guest speakers, from the modules, and from our mastermind calls to help you gain clarity and give you a proven roadmap on how to thrive in today's changing economy. It's not about age anymore. It's not about experience anymore. It's about networking and having a proven roadmap. When you have those two things, you'll become unstoppable in this new economy. Look, you don't need to have the answer. Your network does. You don't need to fully believe in yourself. The people around you do. And you don't need to work harder than everybody else. You have to work right.
So when I joined the Game Changers Academy almost 4 years ago, my income had a quantum leap jump immediately. And if I could say anything about the Game Changers Academy, it would be that in every way, it has under-promised and over-delivered.
So welcome to the first edition of the Game Changers Mixtape. It's time to level up and separate yourself from the competition. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.